Welcome to Cowabunga Ranger Talk. Today we are going to be looking at a line that's still around somehow. It is the Reignition lines, Goldar and Baboo Evil Space Aliens. This is the latest releases of bad guys for the Reignition line. So before we get into it, I wanted to just, give a couple ideas here, a couple of thoughts. So initially, I was huge on this line, and I'm still decently excited for it. And most of the releases, the mainline stuff like the Zords, the figures, I'll be getting. But it's had a turbulent rollout, if you will. Because a lot of these things I was super excited about a year and a half ago. Then we got the first wave of stuff, the Megazord, the flip heads, and so on and so forth. And then nothing for really most of the entire year. Then, Baboo went up internationally, and after that, a pretty good while here on the northern side, if you will, we finally got Goldar. And when these started dropping over here, they put them together with more Ritas and more Ritas and more Ritas and more Ritas, and so like you'd get a case of like four more Ritas, Goldar, and maybe one Baboo or two Baboos if you're lucky. But it has not been as exciting as I want it to be. Let me put it like that. This line, I'm excited for it to continue. And really, one of the things that have really taken the wind out of my sails for this line is some people might have talked about it or some might not know about it, but it was teased that we were going to get Squat and King Sphinx. So ideally, we'd be really close to finishing the Moon Palace in this scale, in this size, these Rangers. I mean, this collection. And then we get news that King Sphinx and Squad are canceled or postponed or what have you, and they're not going to be coming out this year, 2026. And that's terrible because the highlight of this line, I mean, this toy line has some fun stuff to it. Really, the low point, I would have to say, is the flip heads. That, except for the flip heads, everything else is pretty good. But the freaking the bad guys, like the idea that we're gonna get in scale with, pretty close to scale with the original Bandai toy line, the '93 line. And now you do this and you kind of like, you know what? We're not gonna give you Squad and literally, we're literally not gonna give you Squad or King Sphinx. And they're like, wow. And now, just because time length wise, we're heading into the other side of it where it's season 2, because this is a 3-year deal. So there's already been some reports that, the Lord Zed for this line is coming and with the putty. And I'm not that I have a problem with it, because obviously I will be getting the Lord Zed and putty and covering it on right here, Cowabunga Ranger Talk. But it's the fact of, like, you haven't finished one and you're already starting another one, and the season 2 Zords are going to be coming out too, and that's another, like, I guess there's no other way to put it. The Zords are kind of a mess because I think there's too much ambition with trying to release 5 different packs. You could have I've talked about it in other videos, but like now you're moving into season 2, so the Thunder Zords are coming, and then obviously, because this is a 3-year deal, you're gonna eventually reach the the Ninja Zords. The Ninja Zords are probably being designed as we speak and being tooled. So those will. I am like 99.9% sure we're getting the Ninja Zords. The issue would be if they decide, you know what, let's go ahead and let's do the Shogun Zords. And the elephant in the room is there's no Dragon Zord. Dragon Zord was tooled, and then a couple of reps from Playmates said that, yeah, but the retailers didn't want it. It might have to be an online exclusive, and this and that, and like a lot of nothing. So basically, no Dragon Zord, and that was kind of the sell for this line. Like the idea is, you got the Megazords, now you're gonna get the Dragon Zord. At the very core, this stuff goes to legacy fans. So if you've been collecting Power Rangers for 100 years or whatever, you want to have an in-scale team of bad guys. You want a nice representation of Zords, even if they're not like super articulated. Oh, look, this can turn into, the Megazord can turn into the party wagon. No, it doesn't need to do that. But, for what it is. But that Dragon Zord thing is really like an eyesore that it did not happen. Considering the Green Ranger in Power Rangers is arguably the most popular Ranger, it would be like not making Wolverine in the X-Men line or something, or you're not making Raphael in the Ninja Turtles line. Like the guy you would go to, the guy that moves the most, how can... It just, honestly doesn't make any sense. How can the Dragon Zord not exist? and even funnier, like the plot twist continues because the White Tiger, it's already up on listings and the pictures have been shown and some of the articulation and even other stuff has happened. Like really, like White Tiger is great, and that has its audience, and most of us that are collecting this line are pretty much all like 90% in. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're 90% in. You're either in or you're out. This is not meant to redesign the wheel. This does not do what Motu did with Motu Origins, and Motu Origins, that was a completely different. Oh, this is new play. This is more articulation. This is this and that. And now the rubber bands on the Motu figures don't break because we don't use rubber bands, and we have this swappable pieces, and like you can make like you really redesigned everything when you decided to do the Motu Origins line, and even in their playsets, they re-release playsets. I don't think we're gonna get a playset for the Reignition line. I super doubt it. It's almost impossible that we're gonna get Titanus. Tor, you can for the Thunder Zords. That's really not coming. If you can't move the Dragon Zord, what makes you think Tor is gonna move? Come on, or Titanus. Titanus, considering these figures are bigger, Titanus would. There's no way you can even package Titanus in a assembled. You'd have to put them together, like Hasbro did with some of their Megazords. They were like, oh, the Megazords, we have to assemble the feet because the feet pop it out of its box. You would have to do something like that with Titanus. You'd have to have like the base of it, the neck, the arms, the gatlers, all that stuff. You have to have it all kind of separated. But going back to specifically here with the aliens, it honestly it stinks. It stinks that you're not gonna get your team. You're like the main characters you should get is the Moon Palace people, right? Like Rita, Goldar, Squat, Baboo, and Finster. Like these are the main ones. I don't know if they're gonna even make a Finster. So that's another thing to kind of be pondering. If they don't make a Finster for this line, the 93 line, the 92, 93 line, that one didn't have a Finster either, which is really gonna stink up the thing. I think Finster is, since it's the monster maker of the group, I think Finster can can be bought by casuals a lot more than just, oh, I don't want to start this team. Oh, it's the monster maker. It's the main bad guy. But getting into this, because I don't want to like be on a whole diatribe here. Let's try and look at this stuff prospectively. Look at figures as figures, because I have them. I do enjoy the line, so let's try to, you know, be productive as we look at right here. Let's start with Goldar. So here is his little readout. If you want to read it, pause there. He's got wing flapping action. This image you see a lot. You know, here, you know, the QR code and things like that. So let's look at this. Goldar. Right here. So he's got these are fine. These are articulated wings, but they're only like flapping. You can't put them back. And yeah, this doesn't have a lot of rhythm to it. Yeah, that's about the posability you're gonna get with the head. Sculpt wise, he's pretty thin. I would have liked the beefier Goldar. Like all the other characters can kind of be thin, and most Power Rangers stuff, you know, most dudes are thin, but like the bigger dudes should be bigger. I like this. This is very cool. The shoulder pads are movable, so you can get a lot more articulation. That's great. This is the standard release, by the way, if you're wondering, because I know there's a couple of variants to Goldar. The one in the 6-pack with the gray belt. Then there's a darker one that's international. This doesn't move, but it kind of doesn't need to. This kind of stinks because it's Goldar, and like, look, you can't move the leg. You can't move the leg to the side. You have no bend at the knee. The foot doesn't even have a rocker or a swivel. Like, this figure is good up until here. Everything else here kind of stinks. The sculpt is there, so somebody that could dry brush or does, you know, a little customizing could probably get some more juice out of this. And the wings are fairly detailed for what they need to be, because this is like a $10, $11 figure. And that also goes into, you know, a lot of this stuff. What are you paying for it, and are you getting your money's worth? Are you not? See, you look at this and oh, is the bend here? It does have bends there. Like I said, there's fine. And look, it even has hand articulation, so that's good. Like I said, the figure is good up until right here. Here is fine. Here is a mess. Like, you can't sit him down. Look, he's Goldar and he can't make a kick. Who's he gonna kick? He can't do nothing. He can't even bend the knee. There's really no way to even customize this, because if you look inside there, what are you gonna cut to make this articulate? This is molded on as one solid piece. So if you split the figure, it's just gonna be split and you're gonna crackle. There's no way to even like customize this guy. So he is stuck like Chuck. This head sculpt is good though. This is a fine Goldar sculpt. His weapon isn't the most detailed. It's not like Super 7's weapon that's like super painted and this and that, but right here. See, like he wants to do stuff, but like, the figure is in its own way. Like you can't even, you can't. Oh, Goldar's coming to slash you. Fine. Like the most basics of play, right? Like is the you have to move him from the feet. So yeah. Like, this is cute, and some of this stuff that they've done with the engineering to give articulation while keeping the body sculpt fairly fine is very commendable. It's very commendable for what they've done. Here, there's this little effect. Look, you have to move the figure from the bottom there, and this sculpt is pretty rough considering what modern articulation is too. Like right now there's this thing called there's the new DC has gone back to Mattel. So Mattel's releasing these new Batman figures and all of these, and they have so much articulation for like $1 difference, like because they're going for like $11.99, $12.99, like, but still meant for like the casual like kids audience, or even just the random, I just want one Batman and I'm done. You know, like, they got a lot of articulation for that. Maybe too much muscle lines, but like they have a lot of articulation, and this character really shows his age considering he's only a couple months old. But that is Goldar, and that's kind of what I have to say about him. Now let's look at somebody that was never part of the toy line, that never existed, that has never been around in any proper scale except for the 2-inch, the PVC non-moving figures. And the only other company was, I think it was Fisher Price that did the little ones. Here's a little, it's for the preschool line, but it has nothing to do with what most collectors would want. So this is the first normal scale Baboo figure ever into production, because there was the vinyl 8-inch from the original toy line and all that, but I figured I could actually move and do some stuff right here. And this was a very wanted character when it was first announced, and for collectors of Rangers and stuff, this is one to get. You know. And here he is. And he's got a lot of sculpt to him. He's got the slashing. He can move his arm there. Kind of like the Rita thing. Crack him open. Wow, these are some zip ties. They really don't want a finger to move. Okay, so that's him. Let's put them together. See, this is great. This is great articulation. This is great engineering toy design, because it could still do that and it still looks like the figure. Let me show you a shot here of the face. It's a good shot. It's a good head sculpt. Really nice attention to detail here. This is a good figure. This is way better than Goldar so far. It's got the arm thing. I don't remember, and for those of you that do, comment and tell me where this weapon comes from, or if it's from the show that I just don't remember, or it was from the 8-inch line and it was reproduced, or whatever, or it's supposed to be like an extra wing because it's the same color as his body, or it was just plastic molding is cheap that way. I don't know. I like this. I would have really loved to have seen what Super 7 could have done with a figure like this. So if Super 7 ever got to do Squad and Baboo, and because they got to do Finster and Goldar and Rita, so that was some, but that whole line fell apart too. So don't worry, the legs pop in right there. And he's got bends at the knees. Oh, he looks good there. He looks good. For some silly reason, I like that they put the bat as a separate thing. It's probably just for packaging that he has his bat right there. This one's awesome. This one's really, really good. Stinks he's not gonna get his running buddy, but unless Playmates decides, you know what, let's put him in a 6-pack, or let's maybe put him in a 5-pack. Oh, the Moon Palace 6-pack. Also worth noting is he's got articulation on the feet, which I appreciate. A character can kick out if you move the leg a little bit completely, so he can do the wah. So he's got a lot of good stuff to him. So as far as a figure review or like thoughts, this figure is exactly what it needed to be, and then some, because the articulation, it doesn't destroy from what the character looks like I said before. If you wanted to be weird, I guess you could try to put articulation on these like spider tentacle things he has, but you don't need that. That's for what this figure is. He's great. And yeah, like I said, the black wash thing to give him a little more accents is fine, but he is 10 out of 10. He is 100% what he needed to be. So here is the main bad guys. This is what's released. They are cool enough. I did get a couple extra putties there just to have fun with it. They were readily available, so putty wise, since they have different hands, it's kind of cool to have multiple putties. Like all the putties look different. So if you're an army builder, you can kind of say, oh, I have like, because every different putty I have here is laid out differently. I can even do that. I am looking forward to the Z putty that they're going to do, by the way. It's going to be very show accurate. And there it is. There is what we have for the Moon Palace bad guys. Like I said, really, really, really disappointed that Squat might not be coming. Maybe Finster's in the air. Freaking Lord Zed and the Z Putty will make a nice addition to this cast, but that's where we are. And to kind of wrap up the episode, I did want to show this right here. It is the Ranger. He is way too tall for the rest of the bad guys. He does not scale well with them. I know it's the flip head, but it's the most readily available character, so that is kind of a disappointment. Let's see if I can. Yeah. But that's kind of where we are right now with the Reignition line. I will be doing more episodes of Cowabunga Ranger Talk, so you can check them out. And eventually, I will be covering the Megazord in 6-pack, the Mighty Megazord in 6-pack form, because I did get the 6-pack form. I just haven't had a chance to review them. Thanks for watching, and for more, check out Cowabunga Ranger Talk. Bye.